Okay. I'm recording. Okay.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the November Coaches Meeting. Um, we're going to go ahead and get started and kind of move our way through this. Um, some of the items on here I'm not 100% sure about. Skillquest, last meeting follow up, we talked about Skillquest. There was a video that was there, and it is an opportunity for you and your students to learn coding and while also playing Rocket League. Check that out. The AVGL Intel Inspires qualifiers. Joe, I think you might know more about that than I do.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, Dylan
Oh,
just joined.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry,
Dylan.
recruiting call went long. So AVGL, Intel Inspires, essentially those qualifiers for Rocket League were pushed back. They start this weekend. We're 3 days out. It's a great opportunity for your student. Intel Inspires is the largest esports summit in the country. That's pretty much all I can remember off the top of my head right now. I can pull up the one pager real fast to go over with you, but essentially there's $10,000 in prizing total. These qualifiers, $40,000 in prizing total. We end up with qualifiers for Rocket League and Overwatch 2 that happen basically in the fall and I think in the winter. And then over there, those qualify you for, the Rocket League qualifiers are November 19th and 20th. December 9th and 10th, and then there's a wild card on January 28th and 29th. High school Overwatch qualifiers are in January 14th and 15th, and then the wild card is February 18th and 19th. Essentially, all you need to know is keep your eye out for these. We're posting about them on the Discord. We're sending them out in newsletters. I'm posting about them on social medias. Awesome opportunity for your kids. Qualifying gets you into the national tournament. If your kids make it to the LAN, like they get their travel compensated. There's a 15K grant for LAN winning teams. There's $10,000 in prizing for each of the individual LAN tournaments. It's a great opportunity for your students, even if they don't make it that far. Just getting them out there to play in these national tournaments in these leagues. The Midwest division is mostly made up of states surrounding us, spanning from Illinois to Ohio and Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Michigan, all that good stuff. So definitely consider just like taking the chance to have your kids compete in this weekend. You don't have to be super involved in running that. You can just kind of make sure they get signed up, get ready in the bracket, and then it's mostly on the students to compete from there. So it's really accessible in that regard. We have some other questions. If there's anyone that has questions about this, let me know. I posted an announcement about it today so that you can see a bit more about how to contact our representative from AVGL who's involved with this program. And his name is Kyle Arkward in Discord. He should be able to provide you with all the information and details you need to get registered, because the registration process can be a little tricky at times for people who have never used AVGL's platform. Okay. I think I've got everything. Also, Nick, I know you asked me in chat. I'm just going to tell you right now. Do you need me to record?
Joe's
I got it.
recording.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
All right. So along with that, there's an opportunity for some of your high school students to kind of have a socials internship with IEN. And in the agenda there, you can see the link for that Google form. Doing so would qualify your program for a $200 esports enrichment grant. If you're not sure, if that is something you and your students would be interested in, I mean, put that on your students. Have them talk to them and see if they're interested in that, and have them sign up for that. So that way we can get some money into your programs. It's a great opportunity for that, but also it'll help IEN out as getting some of our message out, kind of spreading the word about all the awesome work that you guys do as coaches.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where like if you haven't asked your students yet because you just think they won't be down for it, please do. Please ask them. It's a really simple Google form to fill out. They get you $200 for your program to spend on maybe a new GPU for a computer, a new monitor, some new equipment, whatever you guys need. Maybe they'll help pay for travel to the state finals, all of that good stuff, right? It's a great opportunity, and I'm going to be managing those students primarily. It's really easy. Just students who are interested in getting more experience in running social media platforms, posting content, so everything that they do. I'm going to be able to look at and vet to make sure that they're not posting anything that would reflect poorly on us or your schools and your program. So really cool, and it's one of those things like it's a growing skill set that people are looking for, the ability to have that background of managing social media. It's basically 21st century PR right now.
Awesome. Okay, Dylan, while you're talking, you want to talk about Spin a little bit also?
Yes, cool. Stay Plugged In is a recruiting platform. We're partnered with them to help make some really cool things happen. Spin will be speaking at an upcoming coaches meeting. We're working with them to finalize the exact date for that one, but they'll be treating that sort of like a town hall to field your questions. But essentially, this is a great opportunity for your students for free to get their names out there, to join in their recruiting events, to create a profile on their site that goes out to people. Basically, the thing with Spin is, and this is some, I've been on both sides of this as a coach with you all, and then on the collegiate side as a recruiter. I just spoke to someone that I found on Spin, and like it's a platform that has a free and a paid option. If your students pay, they get some key advantages that don't make or break the whole experience. Okay. So, we as IEN, we do get a kickback for students that we refer. So we'll have a referral code that we're going to be able to give out to people. So if you have kids that are interested in getting scouted, playing in collegiate esports, they want to potentially use this platform, I would say hold off on having them pay for it until they use the free one for a while. And then after they've used it for a while and we have that code to give out, that'd be a great way to raise some money to help keep the lights on over here at IEN. Right now, just to be transparent, we don't have cash flow, and we're all just going to pay, like as a board, like $50 a piece to pay for some of our operating costs coming up. And this is one of those initiatives that we're doing that allows your students to get a great opportunity to go out, have a paid membership to a recruiting platform that gives them better communication tools with coaches. Nothing like a private chat or anything. It's basically all canned messages, so that it's kind of like playing a video game, right? You go play Fallout or Skyrim, and it's like you talk to an NPC and you can just choose a text option. That's basically what Spin provides the paid member, that they can go click on a school and say like, oh, UWRF. Shout out to me, right? I want to message their coach, and then they can just choose a generic greeting that's like, "Hello, person. I'd like to talk with you about your college." And then I can respond back with another canned meeting like, great, please add me on this platform, or let's schedule a call, something along those lines, right? We can't share like personal data or have personal conversations on it. So in that regards, it's secure. But like I said, even if they're an unpaid member, right? I, as a coach, can still reach out, contact Spin and be like, hey, dude, there's this kid from Snyder who looks really good. He doesn't have a paid subscription. I can't get his contact info. Can you connect me with that student or their coach so that I can set up a recruiting call or see if they're interested in playing collegiate? And then Spin does that for me. And I had them do that with about 50 or 60 kids already this semester. So, like I said, if your kids want to try out Spin, we're going to have some opportunities for them to use that platform, compete in some events, thinking about all-star opportunities, thinking about lands that we're doing with Spin. There's a lot in the pipeline here, but it's a great opportunity. And then if your students want to have a little bit more feature set, it's like a $5 a month membership. That's something that they can invest in down the line. And once we have our referral code, we'll distribute that to schools so that they can get just a small kickback to IEN. Anything else, guys, that you want me to mention?
No, I was just going to mention, kind of from a different perspective, that like sometimes IEN, we don't really toot our own horn enough. I mean, this is something that you can, as coaches, take to your parents and to your administrators, saying we are helping our students, we are helping our kids kind of get a foot into a door of a college. This can be their next step. And so I think this is a great opportunity that IEN is helping provide to you guys as coaches for your students and for your parents also, your families.
Yeah, Spin should be at a future coaches meeting to be able to talk to you all about like what they're going to do. They're going to host town halls as well for parents to be involved, and like they'll be able to hear, parents will be able to hear directly from Spin, like what they do, like all the safeguards that are in place and those sorts of things. So there'll be a lot more information coming up about Spin.
Yeah.
All right.
Realistically, we as a league don't have the ability, and no league does, to effectively provide colleges with all of the information they need to recruit. Colleges have a difficult time getting all of the information from all of you individually about all of your students and their ranks and their experience and all of that stuff. And you all as coaches don't have the time to give that information to people or to collect that information and shoot it out there to the universe. So Spin fills a really important niche in what we're doing and can really open the doors for students of all skill and experience levels who just want to have a place to continue pursuing esports in some capacity after graduation.
All right. Joe and Nate, do you guys want to give a quick recap of the past weekends or 2 weekends ago casting?
Yeah, Extra Life.
Extra Life?
Yeah, we had some schools participate. I think it went really well for our school. We exceeded our goal. The big thing that we discovered is game day is not the end of like the giving opportunity for Extra Life. So their giving portals open through the end of the year. So like Nathan at KV, they're getting ready to do their 24-hour stream coming up in a few weeks. But there's still opportunities yet even this year if you want to jump in and do part of a charity stream. It doesn't have to be 24 hours. It can be whatever you want. We can help you set up a team page. You basically just sign up under IEN. All of your donations get tied to you, but then also to our team as well. There are perks and things. My kids liked it. It was a good time. I was super tired for the rest of the weekend, but it was worth it. It was nice to see the parents and families get involved and be supportive of what we were doing. So I'd encourage it. It's a really cool opportunity. And like I said, it's not over yet even for this year. So you can still do something this year in addition to hopefully planning next year a much bigger turnout for IEN as a whole.
Cool. Real quick, just wanted to apologize. Anybody that was late coming into the meeting because they were having trouble getting in. Sorry about that. We were working through that. But this is being recorded. And so we'll be posting this in the next week or so. So you can kind of go back and look at that. Infraction reporting form. Obviously make sure that as issues come up, that you use that reporting form. We, as the board members, we do look at that. So that is important for us. Anything anybody want to add to that?
I will say it will factor into a lot of what affects the spring for some programs. We are taking a look at infractions as a serious determination in whether or not a club program can promote to varsity, and if a varsity program needs to be demoted to club on select bases. So keep that in mind. We want to make sure that teams that are ready for varsity day in and day out are able to play at that level, and we're not having the experience of that league affected by just maybe a program that's going through some issues that administration, and when I say administration in this case, I mean I'm talking about you all running your programs, may not even be in control of, right? Issues with your students and their families, with the school, any extenuating circumstances. It's not necessarily a punishment, but an opportunity for you to be in an environment that's better for you to succeed.
Okay. And then the Tournament of Champions qualifier.
I can go and talk about that real quick. So again, we are inviting the top 4 teams from each division to participate in this tournament on December 12th and 13th. It's a best of 5 single elimination. The bracket will be posted by November 25th. Most of you may be able to look at the standings by now and see if you are able to be in that. If you were in it and you say, hey, there's no way we can make it on the 12th and 13th, let us know as soon as you know so that we can take you out of the bracket. Kind of speeds up the process there. And then the winners of that tournament will get coaching from C9 and advance on to the Cloud9 championship bracket. So, and that bracket will be posted the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes, it's only a Rocket League tournament. So it's states. I don't know how many states are involved. It's a number of states across the country. Each state gets to send one qualifier. So we're hosting this tournament to find IEN's one qualifier for this tournament.
Okay. Board members, any other old business we need to cover that's not on the list? Coaches, are there any questions about any clarifying questions about any of the old business we went over? All right, we will move on to new business. Okay, so new business. We are coming to the end of the fall split for high school, and we are at the end of the middle school season, the fall season. So we need to make sure high school that you complete and report all matches by 11:23 at a minute before midnight Eastern Standard. That way, we as the board can get together and get ready for the next split. Middle school coaches I already posted in the Rocket League and Knockout City chats about getting matches finished up by this Friday, and you guys are fine with that. So then, anything else about completing matches? No?
Should be good.
Okay.
Please do it.
Do it, yeah. That's the best way of saying
Yeah,
that.
we got to make sure we have everything backed up before we do the season change or the split change. So yeah, the sooner the better. And we'll make sure there still could be some hiccups with forfeits and buys counting correctly in the standings. We'll make sure we get that all finalized before the next coaches meeting and make sure you have all that information finalized before the next split.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the next split, spring registration is going to open on the 28th of this month. And it would be great if you guys signed up early, but you guys never do. You kind of always wait. So feel free to get there the 28th and sign up right away. The deadline for signing up is January 6th. That is a hard deadline. We are not going to, or we cannot go beyond that and allow anyone to register. That's over a full month of opportunities to register. So there's plenty of time in there for you guys to get your kids called out and get any team updates, have any tryout updates, anything that you need to do. For high school level, middle school level, that's time you should be thinking now about getting those new teams formed. Yeah, we're going to have help sessions like we did last season. The ones this season are going to be the 7th and 14th of December. In those help sessions, we'll be in UGC. We'll have an open channel in there you can get into, ask questions. Most of you that have done UGC before probably won't need that help session, but it is okay to come in there and ask for help. Any new coaches that are moving from club to varsity might have some questions, and also any coaches that are just starting club for the first time, feel free to come into those help sessions. We'll help you out. Okay. Also, make sure you use the same team names that you did if you're continuing on. That will be helpful for us as a board as we're trying to match the splits together for points.
Yeah.
It's going to be vital that you use similar or same team names.
Asterisk with that, like if your team name didn't include your school name, add that. So like if you used a generic title for the team name, keep that, but also give us a little more about your school to help us and the other coaches identify you. Just don't take identifying information away from your team name. You can add more, but don't take any away.
Okay. Carlos,
Yeah.
do you have a question?
Yeah. So how does it work going from a club sport to a varsity? and the standings? Because I know going from fall split to spring split, the standings stay the same. So because we will be starting basically from scratch at that point, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
So
so
your
every team
standings
makes
will
the
have two
playoffs
games.
anyway. So
Yep.
it'll just, you won't have the points to be seeded quite as high because you didn't compete in varsity in the previous split. So it'll affect your placing in the playoffs, but not your participation in the playoffs.
Thank you.
For any tournament titles you were in, those will still carry over because those don't have club. So
So a split, Gary, we changed from 2 distinct seasons to 1 season that is played out over spring and fall. Yeah. So they're part of the same larger season, just broken up over semesters.
Okay. These are great questions. Any other clarifying questions before I move on?
yeah, Carrie, you'll re-register. So just because you played in the fall does not mean you are automatically registered for the spring. You'll need to re-register.
This is also a great time for you to do something about your rosters if you want to make pretty large changes. Just make sure you get those done. I would say once you get back from Thanksgiving break, start talking with your players. If you want to hold tryouts or call outs to get more kids involved or to shake up your teams, feel free to do that then. But you basically can't wait until the last minute, right? Because registration is going to close that first week of January.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on. Point number 3, new schools, club season. Yeah, we're going to have some new schools joining us. And some of those coaches might be here tonight, but we'll have some new club teams coming up starting in January. We're excited. We've also have a bunch more onboardings scheduled in the next 2 or 3 weeks, so we might be getting some more club teams. And so, again, IEN is growing, and it's pretty awesome. You guys are a great group of coaches. Returning schools, we just already talked about this a second ago. If you were in club in the fall, you now have the opportunity to move up to varsity. And Joe or Nate, do you guys want to discuss that a little bit?
Yeah, so you can make choices individually based on your games and rosters if you want to move up into varsity or just continue club. If you decide to move up, you can have 1 varsity and 1 junior varsity team in every game that we play. If not, you can in addition have clubs, or you can just choose to stay at the club level. We'll be evaluating whether or not schools do move up. So the default position is if you played a club season, then you're eligible for varsity and JV. If there were infractions reported, then we'll evaluate and we'll have a meeting with schools that are not moving up based on those infractions. But don't assume that that's you unless we have a conversation with you. The default will be if you completed your 1 club season, you can move up. And it's not, again, a club season per title. So if you played Smash Brothers as club, your program is qualified to compete in varsity and JV across all of our titles.
Okay. Any clarifying questions about club and the spring season?
You cannot, Andrew, have a JV team without a varsity team. But whether or not you decide to keep those as a club team or go up to varsity is your choice.
Okay. And Zach, you have a question?
So for games there's multiple games playing per day, right? Like Smash and Fortnite. Are those run concurrently, or are they at staggered times, or how does it go?
That depends on so Fortnite starts at 5 p.m. Eastern, no matter what. But if you can't do that, Fortnite and Smash at the same time, you can talk with your opposing coach and see if you can schedule at a different time.
Because I was mostly wondering if people have students interested in both of those games.
Yeah, and for mine, if I have students like that, they have to generally pick which one they want to do more. It just depends. If other coaches are willing to work with you, do it, but I wouldn't bank on it, right? I would say probably tell your student they need to pick one or the other if they collide on the same day.
Okay, thanks.
I would say in general that while initially having students play multiple games can be fun and like nice for your program because it feels like you're more involved, over the long term, it's typically better to have your students try and focus on one game and maybe have one other they play primarily as a sub. That's what I would just recommend in general.
Okay. Other questions? All right. And we do not have an announcement to make tonight about state finals, but we will have an announcement to make at the December coaches meeting about where state finals is going to be located. As a board, we've got most of the, well, actually, we haven't gotten any of the I's and T's crossed or dotted or yet, but we have a definite idea and we know what we're going to do, but we just need to get all that stuff finalized, and we're really excited about it, and it's going to be an awesome event, and we're going to be growing it from last year, and we'll have the opportunity to grow it in the future also. So we are all pumped as a board. We're all pumped about what this is going to be.
Yeah, it will be more centrally located, so that'll be good, and not have everybody from the south driving up to South Bend. And like Nick said, it will be more of an event. There'll be a lot going on surrounding the competitions, and it'll be a good celebration of our students and IEN. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So if nothing else, come to December meeting when none of you want to be here to hear about state finals and how awesome it's going to be. So
Yes.
Yeah, I got excited last night just hearing about Joe and Nick were able to go to the place, talk with people there. So there's a verbal commitment and everything. We're very confident that this is going to go through and provide a great experience to you all. So sorry it took this long, but I will say that it's worth the wait.
And we want to get that info out to you guys before you leave for break. That way you can have talks with administration and busing and all that to get students there, even if you aren't competing, because like Nick said, it's going to be more than just a state finals with games. There's going to be a bunch more to do even for the spectators that are going as well. So,
and there's an outside chance that we can like include some other organizations and things as well. So yeah, the earlier you talk with your school and get permission, the better it's going to be.
I'm not allowing any questions though about state finals because we can't tell you anything yet. We're being cryptic.
Loose lips sink ships, right?
All right, and last thing on new business, the IEN program master list. I don't know what the title of that means, but what the form does is it gives all of your information into one central location, including your logo, your colors, your Twitter, Twitch handles, YouTube, Facebook, all your social stuff. And that gets us a central location of all of that information that you will have access to or do have access to. I'm not sure yet. And
should
then
have access to soon.
Should have access to soon. And then so that if you guys are casting or streaming, you'll be able to get the logo from the opposing schools, the colors, the team information, and be able to share it on socials. So that is going to be beneficial for us as a league to have that centrally located. Okay. Yes, Andrew. How did you guess? and we got a sponsor. We're going to fly everybody out and the teams.
It's pretty centrally located, if you ask me.
You can't joke about getting sponsors when we're all putting money into the account to pay for the website. So.
Yeah, what sponsors you know about that we don't?
Yeah, Nathan and I literally, when we put the money in, typed in board of directors fee into the memo line because instead of getting paid, we have to pay.
Mm-hmm. On a budgetary suggestion, we did a fundraiser this year using Square, and we just did ask for donations. We did it to buy some jerseys, and we're still collecting. I mean, if you guys put together, I don't know what you use to actually administrate the funds, something like that. There may be other programs that are willing to throw in a little extra money to help IEN. You know what I mean? You're talking about $50.
Yeah.
It's not crazy. Maybe somebody has 10, 20 that they throw in. If there was a link like that people could have access to, I know in 2 days we raised $300 by just reaching out to parent supporters, teacher supporters, and saying, hey, we're getting some jerseys. We want to cut the cost. What can you give us? And so we posted that like November 1st. And by, like I said, November 10th or something, we had $400. So
yeah, we have that
I don't know what-
fundraiser link, and we can drop it in here. We shared it on socials,
Yeah.
and it got like no traction. So we'll try again.
Yeah.
We also didn't want to bombard everything with being so close to Extra Life and kind of like take away from
That makes
donating
sense,
money
yeah.
to the children's hospital. Not a very good look for us trying to be super needy right when we're raising money for them. But yeah, for sure, that's a great idea, and it would be great if like when we share that out, you guys could help share it too.
Yeah, because the solution isn't, oh, instead of us paying $50 each, you all just like chip in money. Like it doesn't really do much to have have us just go to you all who are in a similar position and say, please give us money instead. So if you have families out there, people in the community who have really enjoyed having the opportunity for their students to compete in IEN and they want to give back a little bit, that's awesome. But yeah, don't feel pressured to like give us some money right now because we mentioned it during this meeting.
I was just thinking about what to do with our first and probably only Twitch payout that we'll ever get. I don't really have much to do with it because we started that Twitch and got really like big push trying to get everybody on it, and that worked for a month and a half, 2 months, and then it died. So
It do be like that.
Okay. Winning the World Cup.
So it sounds like you want to give us the money for the domain then, Keaton, if that works out, right?
That's what I'm hearing.
We do not endorse gambling.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of gambling either, but let's just be clear. USA has to win the World Cup for that to happen. So the chances in that are obviously a little small.
I did put the PayPal donate link in the chat, and we can share that out and stuff as well.
Okay. All right. That was the end of new business. Board members, am I missing anything? And did I forget anything? Did I go over anything too quick?
I think we're good.
Okay. Coaches, what questions do you guys have about any new business?
This is Brooks from Bluffton, and we're gonna drop one of our games. We're running 4 games right now for esports, and we're gonna drop the one that's kind of dying on the vine, which is Valorant for us. And we want to start preparing for Overwatch for maybe next season. I don't know what Blizzard's gonna do, but we're really interested in scrimming with other schools and running that on a club level. What are the thoughts on that?
So I can tell you that Wabash is putting together some tournaments, some just one-off tournaments that comply with Blizzard's guidelines for running stuff. And I know that myself and Joe both have started having Overwatch in our labs just on a casual level to prepare for those tournaments, along with the AVGL tournaments that are going on for Rocket League. There's also that. So I would say if you want to, my school would be down to scrimmage you whenever. I'm sure there's a couple other schools. I know Lafayette Jefferson is doing some, Wabash is doing some, Snyder's doing some. So there's definitely schools out there that you could, find weekly scrimmages for.
Okay, good deal. Because we're just gonna run that on a club level and just roll back to 3 games instead of 4. So Nate, I'll be in touch with you and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, and you can always post in the Discord and ask, like, if everybody wants to play Overwatch and things like that. We can't, as IEN, officially advertise that we're offering anything. But, even as a school, Tyson, if you decide in spring, hey, we want to host, this tournament and whatever, we can. Yeah. You can do that. We can't advertise it. We can't put IEN on it, but you are welcome to host as a school and do that.
Thank you, Joe. We also just hosted our first just kind of local community Super Smash Brothers tournament, had over 70 kids show up for that. So Bluffton is able and willing to host anything if IEN is interested in using us as a slightly central location just north of Indy. We're game for whatever you guys need to.
Yeah, let us know if you want to host anything. Like I said, like Carmel does an online tournament. KV does it on like a in-person tournament. So if you ever want to host like your own tournament, we'll throw it on our calendar for you, and you can host your own tournaments too. So,
All right, good to know.
Yeah. Carrie had a question about Minecraft. Yeah. So I've been trying out using a company called CompMC this past season to get a look at how Minecraft is done. Because the idea of like doing a build challenge that we did last year was pretty rough. And then how we would go about getting servers and doing that. Company takes care of all the back end of it. It actually works really well. And so I think we are going to look a little more closely at how we can work together with that organization for next year. So this would be the 23-24 year, and having a Minecraft season then. We had a discussion last night at the board meeting that it is too late to have a spring season or a spring split of Minecraft right now. But we would like to do a community open for Minecraft, and what that looks like we could have discussions about. So I guess, and I was going to look at possibly hosting that. If there's a coach here who's like super Minecraft minded and wants to be the person to host some sort of community open here this spring, let me know. I'd love that to happen. And then also, maybe I'll post something in one of the announcements or something that to see who would be interested in doing a Minecraft community open sometime in the spring. Competitive Minecraft, what we did last year, not even going to talk about it, not important. What we're currently doing is a capture the wool competition, but also Bed Wars is really popular in competitive Minecraft. And basically, you have 2 or you have 4 teams or 3 teams, whatever it is, of 2, 3, 4 people, and they kind of start on their own individual islands, and then they have to mine, build, and then go to the other islands, kill people, try to steal their wool, and bring it back to their own little island. So it's capture the wool, capture the flag, basically was what that is. And then Bed Wars is very similar, except for if you destroy the other team's bed, they can't respawn anymore, and then you kill them, and then they're out. And so it's kind of last man standing for that. So, yeah.
I think someone had a hand raised. I don't remember who it was now.
I was talking too long, yeah.
I actually had my hand raised a while ago. I had sent in the Discord, but is there any way to get some kind of Overwatch scrimmage channel on our Discord, or is that still breaking license in some way?
We have the Overwatch channel underneath community open titles. I mean, I can make a scrim channel underneath that. I kind of think it'd be redundant though.
I was gonna say, I've been posting most of my scrimmage needs just in the scrimmage. What is it? The scrimmage arena is that we call it. But I mean, if there's a need for it, we can make a dedicated one, I guess.
Or just like a scrim category. Would that be more useful for schools? I don't know. Don't want to clutter things too much. It's already pretty long in the tooth.
Well, I think I'm going to cut the recording. Not that we have to leave.
Yeah.
But it seems like.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to, I know Overwatch is a big game and that kind of thing, but there's a lot of kids where they just want to have like a competitive of like very, very small games that don't really have too much, like they don't have a big enough scene to be like multi-school kind of competitive whatever, like a Smash Brothers or something. But like, what was one of the ones? Like there was someone who wanted to just play like For Honor, and they wanted a For Honor team, and or Dragon Ball Fighters. I know some of the kids have been wanting to play Dragon Ball Fighters with others, and I'm not entirely sure how that would happen. Actually, so I'm just asking, is there some way, or is there a place to kind of, what's the word? I don't know.
I think maybe what are you trying to say, like a community open kind of thing? Like you have a group of kids that say, "Hey, I really wish that Dragon Ball Fighter Z was a competitive title, but it's not an IEN, but we really want a place where we can compete in it, right?"
Yeah.
Kind of where you're at. So what I would recommend for that, if you have a big standing of kids that want to play a game that isn't offered competitively in ISIN, reach out to us and say, "Hey, we'd like to host a community open for this title. Would it be possible?" And then your school would facilitate, "Hey, we're going to run on a Saturday a bracket, a 2 to 3 hour bracket or a single or double elimination bracket for this title, and we'll push it out to the schools and see if there's an interest for it, right? And if there is, you guys will run that tournament, and that'll help us too. If there's a huge interest for this community open, we may look at adding it as a season title in the coming years."
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the
and-
biggest thing would be like we would help you facilitate and organize, but we would need schools to step up and volunteer to really take charge of those community opens, because it's not something we have the bandwidth to do, like to run. We can help, but not take primary ownership. And community opens kind of died out, which is why they haven't been happening recently. Like the last few that we tried weren't very well like registered for and played in. So like I think they're great opportunities, but we have to make sure that we're choosing games that kids actually want to play and will sign up for and play.
Yeah. Because I know Smash Brothers is always kind of an easy one. Everybody signs up for Smash Bros. But if I wanted to start something like Street Fighter 6 when it comes out, that's kind of a who knows. Like it's kind of up in the air of if they would want to play that. So I'm not entirely sure how popular it would be when it comes out.
And that would be something. I mean, you could. I mean, surely there's guys. What would be the best place in the Discord to ask that question? Like, hey, I'm wanting to do Dragon Ball, whatever. Who else would like give me a thumbs up if someone else is interested? What would be the best spot in Discord to do that?
Probably,
I would say just general or something.
General or
In general.
Why don't we make a general under community open?
Okay, I can do that right now.
Yeah, and that way we have like a specific spot in community open to kind of discuss those things.
Yeah, because sometimes those things get buried.
Okay. Cool. I'll see if I can figure that out. I'm not great with words. I'm sorry.
You're all good.
No, that was well articulated. I think at the end of the day, what you're talking about is a problem that we all have to like deal with, and that's just the fact that we can't support every game that all of our kids want to play, right? Like at some point, you're gonna have kids who like, yeah, dude, I really love Farming Simulator. Can we play that? And it's just like, no. Like,
I would love to see competitive Farming Simulator though.
It sounds cool, but at the end of the day, it's like, how do we have the bandwidth and the participation to offer Farming Simulator as an esport title? I think that while it's cool that they play that game, and maybe you in your lab can like make sure Farming Simulator is installed on some computers, and that kids who get there early or want to stay a little bit late while you work on stuff, they can play on that game together and have a small community at your school. But it's like,
I know a lot.
There are just some games that never are going to get the traction to be like a league esport.
Exactly. So it's like it's just so Dragon Ball Fighters is the only like FGC level type of game that I think might have something behind it. So
yeah, they were in HSEL for a while. I don't know if they still are.
I mean, I just would love to see a 2D fighter on there. So, but I didn't exactly know the steps of trying to get it to something like that. So.
I think in general, just talking about community opens, and then if the community open is really successful, then we can look at it for a future season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're kind of venturing into like off-topic meeting stuff, which is great. But let's adjourn the official meeting and stop the recording, and then we'll hang out and answer more questions.
I was just going to do that. I was going to say, let's go ahead and end the meeting. Have a good night, everybody. If you guys have other questions, feel free to stick on and ask us some questions, or just want to chat. Dorian, I believe, had a question already.
Yeah, so we can do that for sure.
Yeah, he's been really patient. Really appreciate that.